Lakers have only lost 6 times all season. This was by far the most lopsided loss at a 24-point margin. Denver pulls away in the second half after leading it by 2 at the break and wins it 128-104 for their 6th straight win. Obviously, no LeBron James for the Lakers. Big deal. And Anthony Davis, 32 points and 11 boards, but perhaps at a cost. We'll have to wait and see what his condition is tomorrow and beyond after tweaking that right knee in a weird play on the floor when he slipped and appeared to hyperextend it, but came back into the game. Overall, though, not a great night for the Lakers.
No, it wasn't. And, I think it was evident that the guy who facilitates for them and makes things easier for everybody out there on the floor, that he was missing tonight. And, it almost is kind of like a game plan when you're playing against the Lakers going forward, to try to do something to maybe get AD and LeBron in foul trouble and get them off the floor, because the rest of the guys that they have out there need somebody to facilitate and make things happen for them.
19 turnovers, Kevin, compared to just 18 assists on the night.
Well, again, you don't have LeBron, who's such a huge ball handler and playmaker, and you got a lot of guys right now. I mean, look at a lot of these turnovers. That's just terrible. They're just careless. They're probably guys who aren't comfortable with the ball. AD was standing out of bounds and he got that one. But more than that, to me, was in the third quarter, the Nuggets moved and passed, and they came out and kind of showed you why lately their offense has been red hot and their defense has stayed really consistent. They came out and just put it to them, led by Paul Millsap in that third quarter. So the Lakers struggle, but you're going to struggle without LeBron, because I'm not sure who their second. Now Rondo can get you assists, but who else is going to make plays out there for anybody? And AD tonight just was a scorer. He wasn't drawing double teams and then passing out and letting people play behind him after the double team. So the Lakers, look more than mortal, but you lose your top player. That's going to happen. But again, getting back to that third quarter, boy, you caught a glimpse of about a 7-minute stint there where you went like, ooh, this Denver team can be pretty good.
Yeah. Nuggets outscored the Lakers by 11 in that third quarter. Nobody had a huge scoring night. Paul Millsap led Denver with 21, but as often as not, he just feels like the glue to this team. Jokic is their biggest star. Jamal Murray is kind of the up-and-comer, but Millsap, for stretches of games, seems to hold things together for them.
He does. He settles them down. Kevin and I were talking earlier off camera. He does so many things for this team. Obviously, he's a good rebound for a power forward player that's undersized. He can step out and knock down threes from the perimeter. He can play in the post. He's a pretty good passer as well. We were talking about his $30 million salary, and if going forward, this is the last year of it, if it's something that Denver should think about moving on, or do they keep him and come off of that money at the end of the season? But Kevin made a good point that last year during the playoffs, he was the one guy who settled this team down in critical situations, and for a young team that wasn't used to being in the playoffs. And so he definitely has a value for this team. We saw it tonight. They have, to me, their bigger problem is getting a rotation of 9 or 10 guys that they're going to play. Because, we talked about Torrey Craig, who started at the beginning of the season, who's now out of the rotation. We've seen that with Beasley. But one thing you can say about these guys, they're pros. And pros, what I mean by that is, regardless of if you can go 3 games and not play, you still continue to practice hard every day and stay ready so that when you're called on, you can do your job.
Yeah, Beasley was a perfect example of that. You don't play much, but you come out and you have a good game. And that everybody on the team, when you're on a team and you're playing a lot, you really appreciate those guys. They work hard after practice. They stay in there. They grind it out. They're having nobody saying anything to them because they haven't played in a week. But all of a sudden, there's a sprained ankle and foul trouble. And you throw that guy out there, he's ready, and it helps you win games. And those guys are invaluable. But I agree with you. I thought the early part of this season, part of Denver's problem, Brian, was they had too many of the same players. They got a ton of those wings that just are very similar. And I'm not sure any one of them is that much better than the other. So you're almost going like potluck, take a number out of the hat, because I don't think they can separate themselves. So I think as a coach, what you got to do is just say, it's not fair, but this is it. You're in the rotation, Matt, you're out. And, we're going 10 games like this. If it doesn't work, Matt, you'll be back in. But, Brian, I'm giving you 10 games here as our 6th, 7th man. And you just got to pick a lineup. You can't play 11 guys. It just doesn't work. You're better off playing 9. 8 to 9 and getting him some meaningful minutes.
It's a better problem than not having enough good
Yes.
players for a rotation, but it's a problem nonetheless. Denver scored 73 in the second half. That's the most the Lakers have allowed in any half this season. Again, we'll have to wait and see on the condition of Anthony Davis, but his 32 tonight, obviously not nearly enough. And you mentioned he wasn't really a playmaker tonight. He only had a single assist. With LeBron not on the floor, you really need somebody who can do both, and they just didn't have that.
Yeah, if you look at big guys normally how they play, they get the hockey assists because they demand the double team. They throw it out, and Brian's not going to get the shot if he's initially. He's going to move it on. The shot's going to come from behind that. But if you look at that, they started all by drawing the double team. He didn't do that. He played on different areas in the floor tonight. He scored, but he never really demanded that people come down there to him. And I mean, that's a tough shot. If you're coaching, you can live with that shot. This is where I think he's murder, is when he puts the ball on the floor. He watch this move against Jokic. I mean, Jokic has no chance. He just beats you here, off the board. He's tough, but he never established himself where you have to double team me. Every time I get the ball, you got to come get me. So I like to see him do that. And this is the injury. That looked terrible. Watch this angle.
Late in the third quarter, it's uncomfortable to watch as he slips and that right leg appears to hyperextend. And he kind of shook it off. And once he got up, kind of, tried to feel it out a little bit. He stayed in the game, then left the game. They worked on it for a while. Then he returned to the game. And I don't know, you guys tell me. I don't know if you've experienced anything like that, but that's one of those things where you're going to find out a lot more tomorrow when he wakes up.
And then we were talking about earlier, you almost hold your breath every time Anthony Davis hits the floor. That didn't look good. It's encouraging that he came back on the floor, but as you said, tomorrow will be the true test to see, if there's any damage or how he feels based on that. The thing about the Lakers that was evident tonight is that the other guys, when LeBron, his usage rate is so high. That now that he's not there, the other guys are either so uncomfortable or either they're incapable of making plays for anybody else. And that's where I think Frank Vogel is going to have to look at a night like tonight when he doesn't have a LeBron available. To your point, Kevin, put AD down the block, make him draw double teams and be the facilitator from that position. And then that'll put those guys more in their natural positions of being able to catch and shoot and not have to necessarily make any reads or plays for other people, because it was evident tonight that, you saw Kuzma get out of control a couple of times, but they're used to LeBron doing that, and they didn't have him tonight. Yeah,
when you're a facilitator like LeBron, all you do is you beat your guy, you draw two because you beat the next guy, and you allow your teammates to play 4-on-3 behind you. AD's got to be that guy, draw two in the post, throw it out, and allow their teammates to feel comfortable playing 4-on-3. And I got news for everybody out there. If you can't beat three defenders and there's four and you're pros, you're bad pros. Let me just tell you right now, you're really bad pros. But that's how a lot of these guys play. And then they go to another team and they say, boy, we're going to run our offense through this guy. And all of a sudden they're just baffled. Why isn't he efficient? Well, because he's not playing with a guy that can draw too.
Right.
It's impossible. You don't have to be all that good if you're playing 4-on-3. You just got to be able to move the ball and have good spacing. And that's what those guys are used to doing. And you're right. It really shows up when LeBron's not there. Nobody's drawing two. No one's allowing them to play, 4-on-3 behind the ball.
Hopefully Davis is okay, and hopefully LeBron is okay for their sake, for the league's sake, and for our sake, because they're the big Christmas night game against the LA Clippers coming up. That's on Wednesday, of course. We'll have to find out more on Davis tomorrow, we would assume. Came back in the game. He played, continued to come back in Raptors history. The collapse also tied a Mavericks record for the largest blown lead ever. Rick Carlisle broke down the breakdown.
Work. Let us stay in and finish this off.
Let you guys finish the game up and enjoy all the spoils of all that hard
That's
work.
right.
Well, there's a reason these things don't happen that often. 30 points is a big lead to overcome. And the trap really set things in motion for Toronto.
Everybody's going to go to Iowa next summer and go to the coaches clinic along with Nick Nurse. It changed everything. I mean, they started getting turnovers. And I think had Dallas just attacked that trap the whole time. They were trying to make crazy passes through the trap and turning it over. There's a charge right there. They for some unknown reason, were picking up the ball in all the wrong spots in the baseline corner, as you see here, picking it up right over a half court. And it was just like pick it up right here again, right over half court. It was like a comedy of errors that just happened to him. But let's give Toronto all the credit in the world. It's so easy to just say, not our night, down 30.
Right.
And then Kyle Lowry caught fire. He was a flamethrower there for a while, making everything. The fans got re-energized, and there was a sense they were going to win the game. And that's the one, if you're a coach, you literally are sitting in, and the first thing you do when you walk in, you look at your assistants and go, how the hell did we lose that game? Like, what happened? And because it's a blur, because it just changes so fast. And give Toronto credit, but that one's going to hurt Dallas.
It is amazing. Even the greatest athletes in the world, greatest basketball players on the planet can get thrown off by something like that they just don't see on a regular basis. What a remarkable day in Toronto. See what the Raptors have left in the tank when they tip with the Pacers in Indy Monday night here on NBA TV. Indy also on the second half of the back as he goes for a career-high 39. Boston wins it 119-93. Boston's now won 3 in a row, 7 of 9 and 13 of 16 against the Hornets. Tatum afterward was, you might say, bathing in his big night.
What a game. You have... I saw it coming and I still got it in the face. I said, what a game. How does it feel?
Cold. Feel cold.
You tell me the approach does not change from game to game with you, but this was different. What got into you in the fourth?
I just seen a couple shots go down early. We did a really good job defending, and that's where it starts with us, just defending. And we got so many guys that can have nights like this on our team. So, hey yo,
Deuce in the house.
Say hi.
Meanwhile, the NBA suspended Wizards guard Isaiah Thomas 2 games for entering the stands to confront a fan on Saturday night in Philadelphia. The 76ers have also banned the fans involved in the incident from Wells Fargo Center, and the season ticket holder whose seats were being used has had them revoked for the rest of the season.
That was a very pleasant, actually, walk. I mean, he was just very under control, walked up.
Kind of a conversation, but they've made a rule you can't go into the stands. And so apparently in response to the suspension, Thomas tweeted his disagreement on Sunday.
What did I say, bullfrog?
Maybe.
Okay.
He said Saturday night he went to speak to a fan who was using inappropriate language and gestures.
Was he using bullfrogs?
Possibly.
Well, he was very nice, and I tell you what, I don't think he should have got suspended for 2 games. I'm with him. Bullfrogs.
We didn't get to see the king on the court Sunday.
We'll throw that one down.
At the buzzer, call him the champ. Giannis Antetokounmpo presented with a champion's belt by Bango, the Bucks mascot. They do this wrestling thing in the hallway before games,
And he's undefeated.
he's undefeated. Well, he's Giannis.
Well, he's got Robin Lopez, exactly. He gives him the cobra, whack right between the eyes. Next thing you know, Robin's out cold. And Robin's brother doesn't even help him. What's going on there?
Hey, he's not his brother's keeper.
And we got
We'll
Shepard.
talk to you soon, everybody. Happy holidays. How about your brother? Hi, everybody. It's Game Time presented by Kia from our Atlanta studio. It's great to have you with us, as always, and happy holidays. Here with Brian Shaw and Kevin Mchale. I'm Matt Weiner. An epic comeback by the champs on Sunday. We'll get to that in just a little bit. We'll begin, though, in L.A., where the Lakers are on a legit losing streak all of a sudden and have to now hope they didn't lose more than a game on Sunday. LeBron James sat out for the first time. A thoracic muscle strain kept him on the sidelines as the Lakers faced the Nuggets team on a 5-game win streak. There's visual proof. LeBron on the sidelines in a hoodie. There's Anthony Davis, who, not surprisingly, they would feature early on.
Yeah, beat Jokic off the dribble, then went to the glass. And he scored a lot of points tonight, but never really put his imprint and just dominated the game. It was kind of an odd 32.
Did have some numbers. AD had 19 in that first half. Kyle Kuzma back in the lineup for the Lakers, coming off that ankle injury. And then it's Paul Millsap for 3, and it's a 2-point game at the half. Third quarter, Millsap really had an impact.
Yeah, he did, and he gave it to him in a variety of ways. Outside from 3, inside, offensive rebounds. He gave him his whole repertoire of moves.
Denver was plus 11 in that third quarter, and this is where things got really ugly for the Lakers as Anthony Davis goes down. Watch his right leg, although you may not want to watch more than once. It looked really bad, like a hyperextension.
Yes. to the side.
He kind of shook it off for a moment, and then they tended to him on the sideline before eventually he would return to the game. Gary Harris with a swipe and a dunk. Monty Morris misses. Mason Plumlee to Harris for the layup and the foul. And Denver pulling away, all of a sudden up by 20.
Yeah, you got a good look at how Denver plays in their role. When they stop you on the defensive end, they come down, the ball moves, ball and body moves, and they make you pay. They put a bum rush on the Lakers in that second half.
And this was with a pretty quiet Nikola Jokic most of the night, though he somehow finished with 18 points, 6 and 5. You watch the game, you go, he had 18? Really? Never felt that way. 6 straight wins now for the Denver Nuggets, thanks to 73 points in the second half. That's the most LA has given up in any half this season. And after a 24-3 start, the Lakers have now lost 3 straight.
Well, we didn't have enough juice defensively the whole game. The first half, I thought they missed some open looks, and they capitalized it with every breakdown or every late rotation in the second half. And, that's why you see that kind of number.
Hey, Frank, understanding that you guys are a no excuses team, but this was your first game without LeBron. Where did you feel like, now that I'm saying it feels like a dumb question because he's LeBron James, but where did you feel like you missed him the most?
It's hard to say with something like that all over. LeBron's obviously a game changer. Our offensive flow, defensive communication, quarterbacking, playmaking offensively, being able to get guys shots, probably all of that stuff.
Frank, we could see AD's right knee being worked on, or right leg being worked on in the third quarter. He was on the bench, and then he came in the fourth. And I just wanted to see how you felt he was moving and what he was kind of working through in the game.
Yeah, he tweaked it, and he felt good enough to go back in the game. So we just rolled with it. I didn't feel like he looked limited.
It's a big deal when LeBron James, with his usage, with his responsibilities, isn't in the game. Some of this you can write off to his absence, I suppose. But this may have revealed bigger problems with the Lakers. Season low 18 assists, 19 turnovers for them without the king on the court.
And not enough playmaking by the Lakers without LeBron on the floor. LeBron's the guy that beats 2, gets in seams, throws it out, and lets all of his teammates play 4-on-3 behind the ball. Right now you're going to see some turnovers here. I just thrown out to the baseline, and you're going to see just that they're driving. There's a trap happening, and just everything is just sloppy. A lot of turnovers by the team and just bad passing, Brian.
Yeah, it's like a flock, and they lose their shepherd, and they're just kind of out roaming around in the field. I had the fortune of playing as a rookie with Kevin Mchale, Larry Bird, Robert Parrish, DJ, Danny Ainge. Also, in my career playing with Shaq and Kobe. And that empowered me as a player. I was a role player, but it empowered me when I walked on the floor with these guys. They were going to lead, and I was going to just do my job. When it came to me, hopefully knock down a shot. But they made it easy because for players like myself, because they demanded and attracted so much attention. Tonight, when I watched the Lakers team, it reminded me of that. They lost their shepherd, and they're kind of lost out there, without him, because he does so many things. That team is constructed to play around LeBron and the gifts that he brings to the game. And when they don't have that, they look lost today.
Without the shepherd, the wolf eats the sheep. And so it's a terrible ending for the sheep. Yeah, just bad.
That goes with that.
Yeah, well, I'm just telling you, it's just bad.
We'll have to wait on a further report on Anthony Davis, find out what's wrong with him. Obviously, they hope that he's okay. He's a vital part of this team, but he had 32, and as Kevin mentioned, I think the Nuggets are okay with the 32. It didn't feel especially impactful.
Yeah, it exactly. Kevin couldn't have said it any better. He never really put his imprint on the game. He made shots, he hustled and got putbacks and tip-ins and things of that nature. He scored in his little isolation plays, but that alone was not going to be enough to beat this deep Denver Nuggets team. So I don't think that it ever really worried them. Because, like I said, the other players who aren't used to making plays and facilitating were put in a position to do that tonight, and they showed that they couldn't do it.
Is this a one-off, or does it expose a bigger problem for LA?
It's a one-off if LeBron's back comes back and feels better. Then it'll be completely one-off because he'll be right back. I think it shows that you need to develop different prongs as the season goes on. Maybe you got to find, like Brian, like you said, maybe they have an offensive set where for a quarter we're just going to play through AD in the post. And then we're going to spread and fan behind it. So it does show that there's some holes. They have a great record. But they have some holes in their game without LeBron.
Also confirms something we've suspected for a while, and that's the Nuggets are really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and getting better as the season goes on. All right, much more coming up here. Stick with us to see how the champs dug themselves out of a 30-point hole on Sunday. A historic comeback by the Raptors is coming up. Luka Doncic could be back the day after Christmas, but he missed his 4th straight game with an ankle sprain Sunday. A big lead to overcome. And the trap really set things in motion for Toronto.
Everybody's going to go to pick it up right here again, right over half court. It was like a comedy of errors that just happened to him. But let's give Toronto all the credit in the world. It's so easy to just say, not our night, down 30.
Right.
And then Kyle Lowry caught fire. He was a flamethrower there for a while, making everything. The fans got re-energized, and there was a sense they were going to win the game. And that's the one, if you're a coach, you literally are sitting in, and the first thing you do when you walk in, you look at your assistants and go, how the hell did we lose that game? Like, what happened? And because it's a blur, because it just changes so fast. And give Toronto credit, but that one's going to hurt Dallas.
It is amazing. Even the greatest athletes in the world, greatest basketball players on the planet can get thrown off by something like that they just don't see on a regular basis. What a remarkable day in Toronto. See what the Raptors have left in the tank when they tip with the Pacers in Indy Monday night here on NBA TV. Indy also on the second half of the back-to-back. We'll show you their highlight in a moment. Then it's the Pelicans and Trailblazers.